Jesus said that I came not to do away with the law and the prophets, but to satisfy their requirements. What did he mean by that? And does it mean that we still have to keep the law today? So then, Christ said that he didn't come to do away with the law, but to fulfill its requirements. So then, if you look back underneath the law, underneath the Mosaic Law, Moses required that a lamb be brought for a sacrifice. And then the Levites were also required to inspect it to make sure that it met certain requirements. It had to be a perfect specimen without any blemish. Now, underneath that system, the Levite was not required to inspect the worshiper. As a matter of fact, the worshiper may not have met any requirements of a perfect specimen of human being. But the lamb was the one that was required to meet the requirements of a perfect specimen. So then, after it was deemed that it met the requirements, then it was sacrificed for the worshiper, and the worshiper could go free because the lamb was sacrificed. So then, what was the law actually doing? The law was not to try to make us perfect because it concluded that all of us were imperfect. So then what was the law doing? The law was inspecting every human being to try to find a perfect candidate for sacrifice. And it concluded that all of us were imperfect candidates until Christ arrived. Once Christ arrived, the law inspected him. And the law said, he is a perfect candidate. This is what Christ meant when he said, don't say I come to do away with it, but I have come to satisfy its requirements, the requirement of a perfect, sinless sacrifice for the human race. And even in his last days, the high priest held him up, Caiaphas held him up, Herod held him up, and everyone concluded when he was held up before all of Israel that he is perfect, we find no fault in him. The law was just the inspection process. Once the law finally said, we have found a candidate, then God sacrificed him for the sins of the human race. So then the law did its job perfectly. It found a suitable candidate. It also concluded that all of us were not suitable candidates. It wasn't to try to make us righteous before God. It wasn't even try to make us so that we are pleasing in the eyes of God. Peter in Acts 15 concluded that. What did it do? The law was finding a perfect candidate. Once the law found a perfect candidate, it had done its job. There was no more reason necessary for the law. The law had found its job. But in doing so, in finding the perfect candidate, it also concluded that all of the rest of us were imperfect candidates. We freely accept it. We freely acknowledge it. There's nothing we can do by the law to please God. The only thing we can do is receive the sacrifice. Remember, the priest is never going to turn around and inspect the worshiper. He's only inspecting the sacrifice. And we are not our own sacrifice. We are the worshiper. Christ is our sacrifice. He does not inspect us. There's no need for us to try to fulfill the requirements of the law or try to live by the law. Because why? Because the law was not given to make sinners perfect. The law was given to find a suitable candidate. Thank Jesus for that he was a suitable candidate. At any rate, let me know your opinions below, comment, and let me know what you think about what the law was actually for. And is it still required today? Like, share, and connect. And then also on my long form platform, I do deep dives. So if you want to see there's some deep theological dives, connect. Link is in the bio.